Hello everyone and welcome to Module 3 Writing Assessment Activity Samples Debrief. Let's look at the first activity, My Favorite Person. This activity is suitable for an A1 plus level, in which students have to integrate different skills and knowledge. At this point, we are seeing more production if compared to an A1 or a pre-A1 level. And we are giving again clear instructions. You can see in the directions box that students need to write an email about her favorite person, and they need to use the structure of greeting, body, and farewell. Hopefully you have done that in class. They need to describe a friend or a family member by telling the person physical appearance, about this person's routine, and they can give some basic information. So you are telling students what they need to talk about. We have the content that is aligned to the syllabus by integrating different skills and different types of knowledge. Just remember, even though we have step-by-step directions, you can even make them more detailed depending on the needs of your students. Let's look at the sample activities. As you can see, we have 2 of them and you can read them later carefully so that you can check how they are structured in order to observe how the student is communicating the ideas. Again, remember that in writing we are not looking only for mechanics through spelling and punctuation or grammar, but we are looking at how well the student communicates an idea and can keep giving details and organizing his speech. And we can see in these 2 examples that students are following the structure, they are following instructions, but as always in reading and writing, there are problems with punctuation. It's something that we have to reinforce. So, for example, when it says in the yellow part, I hope everything okay, we're missing a verb. I tell you about my person favorite again, she told. So again, we see problems with using word order and using verbs, and especially because Spanish as a native speaker, as native Spanish speakers, we have the tendency to have some of these mistakes. But if we see this example, we have a very specific rubric in which we are addressing grammar structures, vocabulary, organization, the purpose, and the mechanics. As you see, we have 5 criteria to analyze instead of only checking grammar and mechanics through punctuation and spelling. But we have to check if the student is able to transmit an idea. If we look for the second example, writing an assessment activity about the environmental campaign, a student has to create an informative poster containing rules and necessities to the school's community, parents, teachers, and students to protect the environment. Make sure you use modals of advice, obligation, and necessity. If you see, in this case, we could be even more specific, and we should break down the instructions into separate steps. And that's one of the things you should have noticed when you were comparing the 2 activities. Also, this activity will be suitable for an A2 plus level. Instructions are not completely clear, we need to specify a little bit more, and the content is well correlated. We have here 2 examples. As you see, if it's an A2 plus, it's getting longer, but there are some problems like saying children's, which is a common problem with irregular plurals, or we can have the use of certain verbs incorrectly because students might be confused. But again, when we are evaluating and assessing writing, we're looking at the ability to communicate, and remember, through a formative process, we need to identify if most of our students are failing in the same punctuation or in the same patterns. We need to do a review because probably the strategies we used in the classroom didn't work as we expected. Remember, assessment is not only evaluating students, it's also evaluating the effectiveness of the strategies that we are using, and it's very important to reflect and to look for other strategies. This was the debrief of video 1 of writing activities. Thank you so much.